first veteran to be directly elected as mayor in Virginia Beach history. He is a champion of fiscal responsibility, government transparency, and citizen engagement. Prior to his swearing-in ceremony, Mayor Dyer represented the Centerville District for 14 years. He currently works as a physical therapist. Past positions include healthcare executive, business consultant, assistant professor in the School of Government at Regent University. Mayor Dyer served in the United States Marine Corps from 1968 to 1972. In 1976, he earned a bachelor's degree in physical therapy from St. Louis University. In 1982, a master's degree in public administration from Fairleigh Dickinson University. He earned his PhD in organizational leadership from Regent University in 2001. He currently serves as a City Council liaison to the Bikes and Trails Advisory Committee, the Clean Community Commission, the Community Service Board, the Hampton Roads Military, the Federal Facilities Alliance, the Hampton Roads Planning District Commission, the Hampton Roads Transportation Accountability Commission, and the Hampton Roads Transportation Planning Organization, the Human Rights Commission, the Open Space Advisory Committee, the Process Improvement Steering Committee, which he initiated. Mayor Dyer and his wife Trish live in Lake Christopher section of Centerville District and have 2 children and 4 grandchildren. And give a nice round of applause.
Oh my goodness, I'm a public servant.
There you go.
Oh, I got a great face for radio. This is like the state of the city. Oh my
That's what I
goodness.
gave it.
Nothing like the good old theatrics, huh? My goodness.
You can feel free to use my mallet.
Oh, okay. Oh, look what I found. This is the difference between being a city councilman and the mayor. These. Yeah, but I'll tell you what, thank you all so much for being here. And I'll tell you what, I will always come and engage public, especially, people that I have known for many years. And I can tell you how privileged I am to be the mayor of this great city. Now let me tell you, things are a little different. And, not too long ago, I had 65,000 constituents as a Centerville rep. Now I have 453,000 constituents. And I'll tell you what, it's an awesome responsibility, but, I've been on the job a little over 5 months. And my goodness, I'll tell you what a 5 months it's been. I kind of rediscovered Virginia Beach in a very long way, because when you're a district guy, you kind of look at things like this. But then all of a sudden, you take a look at the size of Virginia Beach, the complexity of things. You take a look at all the districts that are so different. Centerville's different than down Pungo. Pungo's different than the oceanfront. The oceanfront's different than Bayside or Rose Hall. We have a very diverse city, and we have to recognize that diversity. And but one of the points of pride I take is that I am still out there. And when I ran and I made a promise that I was going to be the mayor for everybody, I am honoring that process. I still do. I always had a joke. The former mayor would do the ribbon cuttings at Steel Corporation and Centerra, and I would do the Asian nail and gourmet cupcake. And I'm still doing it. I opened up the boot barn the other day, and a hearing aid place the other day. You know why? Because the small businesses are as important as the big ones. Because something, if we are going to stimulate business in this city, we have to make people feel welcome and improve those processes that do that. But the other thing I found out about our great city, I'm going to tell you one thing, and anybody that's been to one of my speeches before, know I say this often now. What makes Virginia Beach great are the people of Virginia Beach. When you go into the communities, you take a look at what you're doing here with your involvement, with your proactive, activism and, things. But you see it all over the city. And, and like I said, I'm out and about. I do a lot of things, like even the day of something in the water, which we'll touch on later. I did 6 events that day in addition to. At 7:30 in the morning, I was in Norfolk at the Main Hotel with the Women's Republican Federation. At 9 o'clock, I was at Mount Trashmore for Child Abuse Day. At 1:15, I did a reading of a proclamation under the cross at First Landing, commemorating the anniversary of that. Afterward, I was at the Hyatt Hotel, a family that was having a reunion, requested if I could drop by. And then at 6 o'clock, I was at Philippine Cultural Center with the Sierra Leone group. I intend to be in every district as long as I am the mayor. Because one of the problems that I foresaw when I took the job was that a lot of people in the city felt disenfranchised from their government, and we can't tolerate that. We have to come out, and we're going to be a high-touch type of person. A high-touch council is what I am hoping. And, but the people are amazing. And some of the groups that I go for, whether it be a family reunion, but I want to talk about one special thing that really touched my heart. Being a jarhead from New Jersey, I'm supposed to be a tough guy, right? A friend of mine asked me, would you do a proclamation for a family called Do Good Day? Okay, we do a lot of proclamations, and we do them willingly. And I said, okay. So I showed up, and there were it was a Saturday, 9 o'clock, and there were 200 people at a place right off of International Parkway on Skyhawk Drive. And they all had t-shirts on, Do Good Day. And what they were there for was to honor a young woman from Virginia Tech who was tragically killed in a car accident 2 years before. And her legacy was, ever since a child, she would do good for people. She was always working with the elderly and just doing good stuff. So her parents, Dad was Navy, career Navy, honor her by the anniversary of her death, do good. And 200 people showed up. And I'll tell you what, this Jersey jarhead started breaking down when I started reading that proclamation about, the life of this young woman. And I said in my State of the City speech, being mayor is a combination of the good, the bad, and the ugly. You get the highs by going to fun events like I did this weekend, but and this morning I was at Father Park's funeral. So you got to be out with the people, and I want to be the people's mayor, but you can't say you're the people's mayor. You've got to go out and actually do it. And if you take a look at what's known, and when you try to be fair, and you realize the multiple constituencies that are out there, and there are there's sometimes they're aligned and sometimes they're conflicting and everything. It's about giving everybody an equal voice going forward to make sure that they know their government is welcome. Okay. And but once again, I can't do it by myself. I'm humbled by the fact that I'm one of 11 in a council manager form of government. And can I tell you something? When they tell you this is a part-time job, don't believe it. Okay? And just so you know, my entire great pay raise, my pay bump of $2,000 went into new clothes because, what can I tell you? The old boy had to clean up his act. What can I tell you? But the thing is, I was privileged to win an election in 2004. Nobody gave me a chance. And I was also privileged, by the grace of God, some luck and some hard work, to be unopposed in the Centerville district for 3 years. And one of the reasons I think helped me do that was I was never afraid to engage in the public. I was never afraid to come in front of the Taxpayers Alliance or the Tea Party or anybody. Anybody that didn't want to talk to me, I talked to Republicans, I talked to Democrats, I talked to anybody. Because here is the problem we have in politics. When you run for office, you're supposed to be a politician. But once elected, you're supposed to become a public servant. Regrettably, not enough people make that transition. And I think what's helped me out tremendously over the years is being a home care physical therapist and being in thousands of homes and, seeing what goes on. And making those tough choices that, we're going to have to do going forward. And as I, preamble a lot of meetings now, this city is not without its challenges, but it's how we're going to handle them, especially going forward. Now, I want you to think about this. I was sworn in on November 20th. The reason it was early was because it was a special election, and, so they had to get me in right away. And right after that, we went through 3 recounts. We have 2 vacancies, okay? And when I was always asked, Bob, what is going to be your #1 challenge? And, let me put it this way, we got stormwater, we got, our challenges have challenges in Virginia Beach, okay? #1 is building a team. And I know I, drive my fellow council people nuts. I got my, as Dee said, I got my doctorate in organizational leadership from Regent. And one of the things, you have to have an effective team. And what you try to do is build that team concept and try to focus on a vision, what we want as a city, where we're going to be as a city. And when you have 11 people, you have 11 personalities, and you have 11 people with, different ways of doing things. But, in trying to put things together and, get unified, it's pretty rough, when you have vacancies and, some of the other turmoil. And let's just say what it was, turmoil going forward. But finally, we're going to have our team coming, and there's, further challenges coming down there. But that's about leadership. It's about, anybody can be a leader in easy times. It's the challenging times. But I'll tell you what, the one thing I found out about Virginia Beach, now I am from Newark, New Jersey. The retirement system for mayors in New Jersey is the federal penitentiary, okay? Trust me, you go up to New Jersey, you talk about taxes. My cousin was now visiting last summer. She bought a house on the Jersey Shore, okay? And her property taxes are $38,000 a year, okay? And the tolls have tolls in New Jersey. I don't know if you have ever had the privilege of going on the parkway or whatever, but other cities are challenged. Now, I am not minimizing what's going on in Virginia Beach. As an organization, we could always improve, but we're actually doing a lot better. And you know why we're doing a lot better? We have a community. We have a community. One of the best days of my life, believe it or not, it was an election night. It was, trust me when I'm saying, when the results came in, I was beyond humble, because my election was not a me thing, it was a we thing. It was Joe Sixpack and the family, and it was a lot of grassroots people, that came out, got together and do that. And Kenneth, you were at my Unity celebration in January, okay? When people, when the press asked me, what are you going to do, how are you going to celebrate? I said, we're going to have a Unity celebration. We're going to start bringing this community together. I think, Virginia, you were there too? A number of people were there, okay? 300 people showed up. 300 people showed up at the Philippine Cultural Center. And it was amazing. It was a mosaic that reflected the different parts of the entire city of Virginia Beach. Most of the people there were not political people. They were just people. They were just residents that wanted to come. And people were embracing. People saw people of other cultures and everything. They went up there and, that's part of my vision for the city, to bring everybody together. And we got such a great, starting point, because one of our real strengths is our faith-based communities. Doesn't matter what faith it is. We have faith-based communities in here. Kind of the community glue that holds things together in a lot of ways. And, we're just blessed with all the volunteerism, that goes on in this great city of ours. We can't minimize that. We're blessed with good schools. And, and I'll tell you, just about, building this sense of positivity. And, one of the reasons I'm here tonight was, to give you an inside track of, what was said at the State of the City. And let let me tell you about the daunting task when you're going through all the turmoil with council and trying to get ready to do a state of the city. And now, let me put it this way. I had attention deficit disorder before they knew what it was, okay? I'm a child of the 50s. I was just a hyperactive child with an overactive imagination. We didn't have Ritalin. We had the Sisters of Charity, okay? I called them compliance officers and everything, okay? But, for me to get up there for, oh my God, it was over 40 minutes. And yes, I was using a teleprompter, and biggest compliment I got, nobody knew I was using one. But you know what I felt good about? I invited some people there that weren't ever invited before. Dee was there, Virginia was there. I invited Marlene. She was unable to make it. Kerry Doherty was there. I invited people that don't necessarily say, Bob, that have challenged me in the past, okay? And I was delighted to have them there, okay? And as a matter of fact, the next week I went on Tony McCraney's radio show with Kerry Doherty, and we were at an hour and a half. Now, you better believe that Kerry has held my feet to the fire at times in the past. But that's, a good politician or a good college professor welcomes good criticism. So I have no problem with that again. And, but once again, the message I try to get was kind of to change the culture of the city of Virginia Beach in a way. Let's talk honestly about some of the perceptions that Virginia Beach had, whether it be with College Beach Weekend or trying to do business with the city of Virginia Beach. Okay? We're going to change that corporate culture. But I can tell you, as a sitting city councilman, trying to do that would be like trying to turn an aircraft carrier around in Stumpy Lake. Okay? It can be done, but it takes time, work, and people to do it. And the message I try to give, and I hope I conveyed, that I want to be a city of yes. When you want to come to this city and do work, and economic development brings you in, I don't want to take it 2 to 3 years for you to get your plans approved so you can get up and running. That's just unconscionable. That's lost revenue going forward. I want to be a city of positivity. I want to be a city of inclusion where everybody feels welcome. I don't care by race, religion, or political viewpoint. And if you don't mind me, Virginia, I think you told me that when you were at the State of the City, you saw a broad spectrum of people, that were from the city. And yes, people sat at the table, with other people and getting to know people. And that's one of the things I try to do, and try to be a little bit innovative. One of the things I've done that was never done before was to actually have a civic engagement prior to us going to retreat. Okay, people showed up, sat at the table with different people, different views, and we came up with the priorities. And overwhelmingly, stormwater, public safety, schools, transportation, okay? And we went into the retreat a little better prepared. Once again, don't forget, as I referred to the mayor of Norfolk, Mr. Alexander, the rookie mayor of Virginia Beach. But I'm just saying, going forward, it's about bringing people to the table in many, many ways, and I still want to do that. And even with the public hearings. And even when you come to the public hearings, you have the folks that say, do this or else. And then you have folks that say, if you don't do this or else, okay? It's, sometimes I was joking with Reed, sometimes government is like being, I feel like Mel Gibson in the final scene of Braveheart up there sometimes, okay? Yeah. It's a tough contact sport. Being a politician it's a difficult challenge these days. And a point I made in my State of the City, I can't control what goes on in Washington. I can't control what goes on in Richmond. But we can control what we do here in Virginia Beach. And when I made that, I made an appeal for civility and mutual respect. Because that's how you get things accomplished. You know, why aren't we spending more time as a society figuring out what we have in common rather than what divides us as a nation, as a commonwealth, as a city, as a family? And the thing is, the way I really